Hey everyone, and welcome back to another week of locals and testing out the set 12 leaders. Today we are doing Rayleigh. Very fun one. Again, one of the more complex decks of the set, I would say. There is a lot of decisions that go into every single turn, like I keep saying, to get the most value out of your plays, and one little misstep can cost you a lot down the line. Of course, with any deck it can, but before we get into it, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and if you enjoy the playmat I'm using, shout out to Nen Gardens for sending me it out. You can use my code StrawHatPecan for 5% off on top of any other sale they're running, right? I've used the Whole Cake Island playmat before. We have the King of Hearts, really nice stuff. I also have a TCG player affiliate link if you're going to be buying any cards. Clicking the link in the description just helps support my channel along the way. But also, make sure to be nice to my opponents. They're doing me a favor by allowing me to record these games for in-person gameplay, right? And it's just a locals at the end of the day. I tried my best, obviously, with Rayleigh, but this is my first time playing it in person. So, you know, definitely a lot more practice would have to go into it if I was going to take this to like a big tournament, I would say. Shout out to round one against Yellow. Eustace Captain Kid. Honestly, I was a little bit worried at the very beginning because you know, we lost dice roll, so we're going first. We're going buggy. And firstly, I want to say I still don't know what tweaks I would want to make to the list. This card here, I've seen lists run it, not run it. I just didn't have, I wanted to try out the one list that I've been running, right, that used the 1-cost Straw Hat Searcher event as a one of, which would have been this. But I couldn't find it in my bulk. It's like an uncommon from like set 1 or 2. I could not find it. I didn't open up that much of those sets, to be honest. But yeah, I don't know. It does come in handy, I would say sometimes. But there's just a lot of times where I don't find what I need. And I found this card a lot. So sometimes I was thinking maybe if I had that extra search for like a 4-cost Luffy, it would have helped, right? I don't know. So yeah, if your opponent has a 7k power body, it buffs by an additional, but it buffs 3k for 2 non. He plays out the veggie blocker, so we have 3 non. Probably going to be doing 2 searches. We reveal 2 events, the armament hockey and the event we just picked up. So now Buggy's going 5, and he takes. We go another 5, and he blocks. So that is a tell to me that he doesn't have a lot of counter, so I'm gonna try to be just finding Luffy. We don't find the Luffy, we find the mole gun though, which is a nice event to get rid of some of his bodies, possibly some blockers. We go Boa, another 5, don't find Luffy, and that's just how it goes sometimes, and why this deck feels to me like it's very consistent, but at the same time, sometimes you just don't find your pieces, right? Like your insane curve of going Luffy into like the 3-cost Sanji or a Searcher, Boa, something like that. It feels rough. Here he goes at life, but I think it was a mix-up on like what can KO the buggy. Kid is not slash type, so he can swing into it, so you know, I'll let him swing into the buggy instead. But yeah, not a crazy amount of characters in hand. He does make the blocker. We get the Kikinojo at the top of life, we see. Fortunately for us, we are not in danger of going to 3 life here. And we go a buggy searcher, and then there's our straw hat. So that is like the thing, right? That I've talked about a few times. We'll let it keep playing, but when you search 2 to 3 times and you don't find a specific card you're looking for, it's higher and higher likelihood that the following search is going to contain the thing you're looking for. So the fact that I searched with buggy there, I kind of know that there is a very high likelihood I will be bottom decking a 4-cost Luffy. I still search because I'm just trying to get some swings out on board, because again, I feel like he doesn't have a lot of counter, so I'm trying to just go extremely aggressive. We're going armament hockey to attach that active Don to Rayleigh, and then buff the Nami. Again, just trying to get as many swings as we can get in. We go 6 at life. And we have the 2-cost Sanji out with the buggy. He blocks and trashes our life with the Hawkins, and then we swing 6 and he takes. So again, got him down to 2 life. We have the Kid Killer in hand. We've got the buff event. We can go really aggressive. We've got unblockable, and we've also got Mole Pistol. So we have a lot of ways to deal with any blockers he puts up, any board he establishes, while also just pressuring his life a ton. He goes Luffy Searcher. So this is, I guess, an example of like, even though I did feel like I was going to bottom deck something with that Buggy Searcher, and then it did happen, right? It's still an example of, well, you can still read the game state and apply pressure accordingly, right? We're still very healthy. Obviously, with a good turn from Kid, it can turn things around. Tons of ways he could clear our board. They're very small bodies, right? While establishing big blockers. If he goes like a 7 cost Law, he uses Blaze Slice, I think the 1 cost event that rests, I think, a 4 less and buffs the leader or character by 1k for the turn. That's also main / counter. Since he's at 2 or less life, it works. So he's able to get rid of our Sanji. Right. Which does suck. He uses the Red Hawk to get rid of our Buggy. And at least we keep the Nami, so it's still a swing. However, it's our worst swing as it's 2k power. And he doesn't have anything on board to make a blocker out of. We go another Buggy Searcher. Again, just to get bodies on board. And I kind of felt like, again, probably going to whiff here. Or not whiff, but like bottom deck something else that I'd want. But again, I just want to keep the pressure up. We go 5 at life with Nami. Could have gone a little higher, but I'm going to be doing the Kid Killer to go 5, 6, and then 7, right? Just to go higher with my swings. We could have just split between the 2 and like kept Kid Killer, but I was trying to get him down to 0 life for unblockable. But he was able to get out of the 6k, which I think we knew he picked up that 2k counter. Pretty sure. But now with 3 bodies on the board, we have a couple of 2ks. Like I could probably counter out with one of the unblockable. But at this point in the game, he kind of knows my hand, right, from what we've been picking up and revealing. But it's also just a thing of, can he heal while also surviving a couple of turns of unblockable, right? But yeah, if he plays out the 7 cost Law or the 8 cost Kid, those are too high for us to get rid of with the Mole gun. So that's important to keep in mind. So he's attaching Don and going 6 at life, and we take. Does a Kuma to go up to 2 life. Pitching the Kikunojo, so a dead card. And then leaves up some Don. See, now we have the Luffy. We go 2 events to buff up the Buggy. I'm debating playing out the Luffy, but I think we could just probably go for game possibly. I don't know with that an event. I know he can go up to like plus 8k. So with the event, I didn't, well, you know, you can buff 2 different characters, right, with the secondary effect. So we buffed the Rayleigh with the extra. I think 1k. Yeah, so Rayleigh right now is a 6k swing. We have a 9k coming in. So he does go the event to go up to 8, and then so we're resting 4 to go Luffy. So now I'm just trying to get more bodies on the board because I feel like I'm going to lose the Kid Killer and the Buggy. So we take the Conqueror's Hockey, which is actually a really good pickup at right this point, right? That's our best counter event. And then we go 7, and he gets the Hawkins, so draws 2, trashes 1, trashes the 8 cost Kid. The Luffy does get the buff as there's 2 attached Don. However, with only 1 on Rayleigh, if the Kid Killer goes, he'll lose that. which with things like the blade slice, I'm pretty sure the Luffy could get rested, which might matter. We still do have a decent amount of counter events, but I kind of want to keep the unblockable just in case, right? I'm pretty sure he knows I have unblockable still. He knows I have the Conqueror's Hockey. He knows pretty much my whole hand, you know, for sure. But even if he heals another, it could depend on his... It could depend on his life, right? I think worst case scenario is he goes 5 into buggy. I could have saved it possibly, but I was trying to save Kid Killer with the Conquerors, right? He goes 7, so we use the Conquerors to go up to 7, then minus 1k power from everything else. So the worst thing is if he heals and plays out at 10 down, he could play out 2 blockers, right? We'd be able to pop one of them if it's like the Veggie or something. Like we could, if he plays 6 down to heal with another Kuma and then plays out like 2 blockers, possibly. But he just plays out Kata to heal the Luffy and leaves Tudon open. We'll see if he plays out a blocker or just uses him for events. He just passes with Tudon open. So now with 4 swings on the board, Tudon open, I'm thinking he can probably go up. So we buff, I think the Luffy here. Yep, so Luffy's now 6k and now he's in 8k. Which requires 2 cards out of hand. Even with the event, we go 9 life though. Just to make sure he has a 2k on top of the event. But this is, I guess, an example of where that the 2 cost Gum Gum event that buffs Tudon for 3, and then a little addition if, you know, he has a 7k or higher would be good to make the Shakuyaku an easier like target to swing with as well for not that much Don, right? But we end up getting it with the Kid Killer swing, and yeah, it was just unfortunate. I don't think he had a lot of counter from the start, but that's like kind of a lot of Rayleigh's attacks, right? Like if you can't get out of the early 5k swings, you can be in trouble late game, especially if you just have 2 turns of unblockable setup. It does get a little bit shaky with like yellow decks as they heal, so you can't really rely on just going unblockable twice in a row to seal it out. But it was just, I think, a few unfortunate turns of like he didn't have a blocker to form, right? Or like the counter to protect from some of the early game swings. A little bit unfortunate for us as well because we didn't see like Luffy till very, very late, right? But it was a little bit on me for searching with that buggy because I feel like I knew it was coming up. You know, it is what it is. Again, if we had the Straw Hat Searcher event, we could have found it, I think, or at least gotten closer to it. I don't know. So I don't know if I want to run that card. I don't know if Rayleigh decks are still running. I have to look because as of recording this, the card fest is over. You know, Zoro won against a Rayleigh. I'm wondering what some of the Rayleigh lists look like. If what like tech options they're running. You know, could be a little bit interesting to check out. I feel like even at this point, like the list might be a little dated. But GG, shout out to round 1. Shout out to round 2 against Zoro. I really do feel like this is a bit of a tricky matchup. We are going second here, and we don't have any buggy, but we do play Boa to pick up the Supreme King. So that's not like that bad, right? But this was a mulligan. I don't think I have the did I have the first hand recorded? Yeah, so the first hand I had was strictly 5 events, which is not great. Not great at all, I would say. So the fact that we mulliganed into like just some more events, we had the Boa and then just 2k Sanjis. Like the characters, it's not the best. Obviously, Buggy is a very strong pick from to look for in the early game against Zoro. Just seeing some Luffys would be great too, but It's not great. It's not great. He plays out the Koshiro blocker. We get a kid killer. So it's like, I have some options here, right? We have some options. Reveal 2 events. We buff Boa. We go 5 at life. Here, I think I do make a mistake, though. And I want to point out every single mistake that I can. We play out the 2 2K Sanjis. I don't think I should have popped Boa, right? But I was trying to get rid of the Koshiro blocker a little bit early. I don't think I needed to worry about making him block out. I think I should have... the reason I play out the 2 Sanjis is because I know he's going up to 5 Don. I'm going to lose one of them. He's going to rest one of them and swing into it. It's going to go away, right? So I play out both of them to have a body on board because I know from my hand state right now, I don't have a lot of bodies, nor do I have things to find them, which is very unfortunate. So we go 7 and he takes actually. But yeah, I think if I leave up the Boa, you know, then we still have 2 bodies afterwards because he swings into Boa, it dies, but we still have 2 Sanjis, which is not bad. And here, again, I have a few things. We have now we have the observation hockey, so we look at top 4. We find the Sanji, which is not bad, but I feel like a little late, to be honest. Not that it's a little late, but you know, I don't know. We finally find the Luffy though. So we have the 2 events. So we buff the Sanji. Here is also another debate, right? So Sanji's a 5k after buffing with leader, right? I should have, because I'm thinking I'm gonna use the Sanji's leader, Sanji's ability, but that puts me down to 2 life, which is too risky right now. I don't think that I have the pressure after having a really slow start to go that low on life, right? We have Kid Killer and we have a few unblockables, which can really help me, and the buff event too. However, still, I think our board state is too slow to lose another life. But with the Supreme King, you know, you never know. You might be able to defend something on board. It depends on what he swings into. However, the benefit to attaching that 2nd Don to Rayleigh lead means that Luffy is going to be 6k no matter what. I could have gone 6 and 6 with attaching the rest of Don that Luffy plays coming out, right? The 4-cost Luffy to Sanji to make him a 6k swing. But then I would only have 1 Don on leader. So that means once the Sanji gets KO'd, Luffy would lose his 2k power buff, making it harder for me to defend him, and I really want to defend him. So I think I should have just gone 5k with Sanji, 7k with lead, and kept the Luffy buffed, right? I think that being greedy and taking the life with Sanji was not the right idea. We do have like some counter. We can remove the Tashigi with the mole gun that we have. So we can clear board a little bit, but it depends on how crazy his turn goes. So he does rest with the Quina. He goes 7 at Sanji. And he goes 9. So we just go 2 2s, and then he goes to life. We get another Supreme King, which is good. And here I can fully clear board, right? So he has 6 in hand, 3 life. We technically could push life, but I want to remove the board, right? We can't afford to let anything right now stay, because we can technically maybe live with like Supreme King. There's a lot of, again, like I said, there's a lot of decisions that go in, and I feel like already throughout the game, yeah, we did have a bit of a slower start, I would say. It's unfortunate. We go 6 Aquina, get both of them. We go Mole Pistol. So we buff the Luffy first, and then we Mole Pistol, yep. Just using the Mole Pistol to buff so he has a little bit less info on hand, right? But I think there were some mistakes with the Sanji turn, the Boa turn. I should have left the Boa on board to kind of eat up an attack, so that way I would have had 2 bodies on board on the Sanji turn, right? He 0 costs the Draco Mihawk blocker and then gives a 2k counter. but down to 2 life. I'm feeling like okay, possibly, right? Like I'm thinking I'm going to have 2 bodies after this. And I have the Kid Killer. He's a little bit low. I'm feeling like okay. I think I'm done open for the Conqueror's Hockey. So he's going 8 at Shakuyaku. And he uses the restand event. So now he can still attack the board because he didn't activate leader ability, right? So he goes 8 at Sanji. We're losing that for sure. We're losing that for sure. Even if I use the Conqueror's Hockey, it's not crazy. And we go 8 life. So we keep the Luffy, right? But here, there's a lot of decisions. There's a lot of decisions, right? I don't think that with my math in hand, I think I calculated how much counter I have. Right, we have Supreme King Conqueror, so that's 3k for the turn against Zoro. If he has Restand Event, he would then be going 11k twice. I can't at 0 life get out of 11k twice, right? Even though I have a couple events that are 2k counter, Nami, Luffy are both counter. We have a 2k Sanji. We just don't have enough counter to survive 2 11k swings, so I need to go for game here. And I think that if I had another swing from Sanji for 1 turn, even though the 7k got him to take a life, I think that would have made a difference possibly. You never know, maybe that Sanji would have lived an extra 2 turns, right? I do technically have enough swings with the Zoro and the Kid Killer, but then I wouldn't have enough Dawn to pop the blocker, even if I had Mulgun. And so if I want to buff the event to go 3, so now Zoro's an 8, I don't have enough Dawn to attach enough active Dawn, right? So we use Armament Hockey actually to attach the Dawn and then buff leader, so he's 7. So we have 7 in life. So actually, yeah, at this point I'm like, wait a second, no, I've messed up my math. I can't make Luffy an 8k. I thought I was going to go 7 7 8 8, but I can't. And also he just has a lot of counter. He has 1 down open still too. Yeah, so if anything, maybe I don't even use the buff event and attach those 2 Dawn across the board so that Luffy gains, yeah, an extra bit. But he just had 2 2Ks. He had a lot of 2Ks. So there was no way that in that last turn that I was going to get it unless that I somehow got him down to 0 life and used unblockable. But he knew I had unblockable or was playing around it. So he was just going to be able to counter out or block before he gets down to 0 life, right? The only way I think I could have done it then is if I just pressure so high for the first 2 swings that he had. No, he would, the 3 swings beforehand would have to be so high that he doesn't have the counter for it, but he did have the counter for it, so that mathematically I wouldn't have been able to win on that last turn. Again, I think to reflect and look back, the biggest mistakes were the Boa on 2 Dawn, or on 4 Dawn, technically popping that. I think it was very unfortunate that my best play for 4 Dawn was just playing out 2 2Ks, right? That's a lot of counter I'm losing out on. And then also using the Sanji's ability, I probably shouldn't have. I should have just swung 5 and 7 that turn, but even that is a very inefficient swing number, but that keeps the Luffy buffed up, and he did swing into it the following turn. So that was the only way we were able to save the Luffy, was that he was a 6k body, right? If he was a 4k, we would have lost that too. But if I leave Boa on board from the start of the game, he swings at that, obviously because you want to get rid of the Boa because it gets you additional value on a next turn by buffing something with 2 rested Dawn, right? Then we still have 2 Sanjis to swing with the following turn. I don't know. It's a little rough, I think. And then the fact that we started off slow and then made a few mistakes it kind of all just piles up, right? Again, I think Zoro's a bit of a hard matchup, especially if they see some specific pieces, right? Enough things to rest your board. Like if you don't have a crazy board every time, if you're not developing like a full board every round, every turn, it feels like they can just respond to it and stay pretty healthy, you know? And then the fact that he had a lot of 2Ks at the end was a little rough. But GG, shout out to round 2. Did give me a lot of knowledge and stuff to, you know, to think about. You definitely have to be conscious of what you're searching with, what you're searching for, what you leave on the board to anticipate what gets swung into, right? I think in this matchup, for the most part, it feels rough to ever use the Boa's secondary ability to remove a body, right? Because you just need more things on the board, like as many things as possible. Is what it is, though. A lot to think about, a lot to learn from. Like I said, Rayleigh is not the easiest deck in the world. But yeah, still fun matchup because we got to learn. And we actually went over a lot of it afterwards. So shout out to my opponent to like think of, was there any math on previous turns? And yeah, I think we pinpointed the Sanji and the Boa turn were a little rough, right? But love to hear your thoughts if you're a Rayleigh player. And I don't know what I did to upset the universe, but going into Enel round 3, this was also, it felt like the stars were aligned against me because he was 2-0. So I am his down pair, which feels rough for me. Like I got paired up into Enel, which after, you know, making so many mistakes against the Zoro matchup, like my brain was, you know, thinking a lot on like math and like things I could have done differently. But here we do have like okay, again, the mulligan hand was even worse. It was another 5 events. I don't know what I'm doing to shuffle my deck, but it is not working. Everyone complains about the sim and like the sim giving you weird hands. I don't have a single event. Now we do have things to find events, right? We have 2 Boa searchers. We have 2, like we have a lot of, we are going second. We're going with Boa to look for events, right? We do find a couple, so that's good. I think we're going to take armament. No, we don't take the unblockable. Okay. And then 3 Dawn, we might not see anything from him, but we have to hope we like top deck an event to use Luffy because we want to go as wide as we can, right? But yeah, this feels like a really rough matchup, and we just have to hope that they brick and we can win the game before, you know, things go down. We do top deck an event, so hey, we love to see that. We love to see that. And here is, I am debating, do I swing with the Boa? Probably not. I don't think I'm going to. I think we're going to try to leave up our board. He still has ways to deal with it, but I don't want to give him extra ways to deal with it, right? He does play the Kuzan, so then the Sanji goes to the bottom, and I have to trash a card, which makes me cry a little bit after locals. You know, I did go into my car and cry a little bit because that Kuzan is so mean. I don't know how, you know, how I'm supposed to deal with that. We don't have any border protection removal, you know, like, just, but that's why I didn't swing with the Boa, because if he got rid of one of my bodies with the Kuzan and then also just swung into the Boa, I would be very sad and only at one body, right? So now Boa's a 5k. I think I might swing with her here, but yeah, we do, because I'm trying to pressure him down, because now I know I can go super, super wide, right? Do I, yeah, I'm debating, do I use the Boa ability since I know she's just going to get swung into? We don't, because then if he has to swing with Kuzan, you know, we kind of chilling. We do find the Luffy. But because I'm getting starved out and I found 2 Sanjis in that search, I do use the Sanji immediately. So I get a card out of my life to my hand just for that, right? Against the starve build, I'm gonna be using that Sanji as much as I can. Now, because there's 2 attached Dawn, the Luffy is now buffed. And he goes 5 at the Boa. We let it go. But we have 4 cards on board, right? I'm feeling like not bad. But he uses, I think, he uses an event that KOs according to how much life we have, so he's able to KO the Luffy, which is very sad. Is very sad. Goes another Kuzan, which is actually making me cry, you know? And he gets rid of my Sanji, of course, right? That is like how we preventing ourselves from being starved out. Now we have the Buggy and a Sanji. Again, we just need as many bodies as we can. We go 5 of life. Oh, and here, so I didn't trash a card with for that second Kuzan because honestly, I was just crying internally. So I was a little distracted, but I trashed an event that I had in my hand of the previous turn. So to, you know, make the game state. And we play out the Buggy. Play out Sanji. And then I think we just pass here. Since we lost a lot of our board, a lot of our good board, right? Like our 6K and possibly 7K swings. Feeling rough. Feeling rough. But hopefully, again, we can start trying to close out the game before it gets a little too crazy and he just keeps healing. Like the goal is to try to end it, I think for me, before 10 dawn, right? Just hope he has a lot of bricks, has a lot of his top end. Gadatsu. We'll see what he pops with that. The Boa, yep, that does get us a lot of value on our next turn, and we don't draw a card from it, so that sucks. And goes Kikinojo. And see if he swings. He does go 5 of life. Doesn't really help us. We could use some more rush cards, right? But we get just another Searcher, Shakuyaku from the top. So he has 6 in hand, but down to 1 life. So we have 4 swings on the board. I'm not feeling that bad, honestly. We do have Armament Hockey, right? We reveal Unblockable and Armament to buff the Buggy, so that's a 5K swing now. So we use Armament to attach an active to Rayleigh and buff the Buggy, so that's a 6K swing now. And I think we're going to go 7, I want to say. Yeah, we do go 7 in life. So 6 cards in hand, 7 life. He takes, and that's actually, okay, so he gets the draw 2, trash 1. Trashes a brick. And then trashes another brick, an event. So then I'm thinking, okay, he might have a lot of bricks. He might have a lot of bricks. It might have fixed because, you know, he just goes... is able to counter out of the next 7. So now Nami is a 3K. And we go attach 4, so go 7 again. And I'm hoping, yep, he's just bricked. And he has 5 in hand. And we go 9. And are able to get it. So, shout out my beard coming in the bottom left. Yeah, just unfortunate he wasn't able to get out any big bodies. He was able to remove my board pretty successfully, right? I think he's just not... He didn't find the stage that like rests an Enel to KO all of your 2 or less, which is like the most annoying card in the world against Rayleigh. Whew, I don't know. That is, yeah. If he had that, obviously the game state would have been a lot worse for me because we would have only had 2 bodies, you know? But because we had our little 1-cost searchers that were able to swing 7, you know? Armament Hockey coming in pretty clutch there, helping us out a ton. And Buggy, right? But yeah, definitely crazy matchup. Kind of annoying with the 2 Kuzans, I will say. But is what it is. And, you know, definitely got to know how to play into it. I think we saw like our best curve kind of for this matchup, but even so, a lot of our board was removed every single turn. I think like 1 to 2 things getting removed every single turn, right, was kind of unfortunate. If you found like another Kuma maybe, but then I don't know, because then then he wouldn't have been able to like remove something with like a Gadatsu. If he had like, I don't know, another Kuzan instead of the Kikunojo, that would have been like game over for me, I feel like, because we needed every single swing. I don't know. But GG, shout out to all the rounds. We end up getting second because there was only 3 rounds. I lost to the person who won. And then my third round was this. I won my pair up, right? I paired up into a 2-0 and won. So that like the win percentage, I don't know. I got second. So that was kind of hype. But honestly, I just wanted to play Rayleigh. We played what, 3-4 of the new leaders? Kuzan, Koala, Rayleigh. Still haven't played Zoro, Sanji, and Rosinante, which I kind of want to cook up something with Rosinante. If you guys got any good suggestions for Rosinante list, yo, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to bring one to locals. But yeah, overall, I think Rayleigh's a lot of fun. It's just very unfortunate when like you have a little bit of a slower start and then pairing up into Enel definitely was intimidating and scary and making me cry a little bit, but we ended up winning. So shout out to everyone. Really fun week of locals. Again, just a nice group of people. So I'm very grateful to play the game with, you know, these nice folks. So let me know what you think down in the comments. We'll go over the list, but again, it's the exact same except for like one card as the Rayleigh list that I've been playing with, like the one that got like second at the regionals. So here's the list. Notably, just 2 of each rush card. I think that's changed a lot, like the Kid Killer and the Zoro. Some people run 4 Zoro. Some people run the 2 and 2. And then just 1 of the King Kong Gatling, right? We're running 4 of all like the 1-cost searchers, which also made me feel real bad when like I started off with just like 2K Sanjis and a Boa, right? Like we're running 12 1-cost searchers, 4 Boas, that's 16 searchers. And we only found 1 Boa in our starting hand. So that feels rough. It's bound to happen. You know, it is what it is. Like I said, it was just a weird day for the shuffling. I don't know. Like I said, it was the first time I was playing the deck, so maybe because I had like everything in like a 4 of set and then like shuffled up beforehand, maybe just need more shuffling. I don't know how like people get very serious with like the shuffling and like how you shuffle your deck and like table shuffling versus pile shuffling and all that stuff, you know. I don't know, but yeah, I do think I like the maxed out searches. I think some lists didn't before. Some like ran like 3 of for like the Nami. The Nami does whiff sometimes. But with this added Straw Hat event, actually did feel nice. I mean, like this would be the Straw Hat character searcher event if it wasn't, right? So having 2 Straw Hat events, having the Luffy, the Sanji, the Zoro. I think also the 4 Zoro kind of helps it as well. Not whiff, right? So I feel like that is definitely an argument to be made for Zoro. And a lot of the times the 5k ping from Zoro is kind of just what you need as well, you know, relying on like the Kid Killer to come in for like a big 7k swing at the end can be a little bit pricey, as you saw with the Zoro matchup, right? Possibly if I had 2 Zoro rush instead of the Kid Killer, I might have had an extra Don to attach somewhere, so the Luffy would have actually been buffed more, so we would have got more value from that. I don't know. There was a lot of math and things to think about there, right? But overall, I love Rayleigh. It's a very fun deck. I'd love to play it more and practice it more, and you know, it can feel very, very strong when you see your pieces and you start properly searching and getting the right, you know, curve and everything, and just being able to find so many of your pieces in so many ways, right? Definitely feels great. But yeah, just a fun week of locals. Again, I'm looking forward to playing more of the decks in set 12 as we approach Premium Booster 2. I'll have a lot of different decks that I've been waiting on for that as well. But yeah, let me know what you think down in the comments. If you've been playing Rayleigh, what lists are you running? Anything you've been doing differently? And let me know in those comments. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hope to see you on our next one. Bye-bye.